welcome to Week 6, Module 6 of Introduction to Literature. This week we're going to be reading the work of Mohsin Hamid. He's written several books. I have one of them handy with me right now. This is Discontent in Its Civilizations. This is some of his essays, nonfiction essays. He's written a number of other books that are excellent books, but the one we're reading this week is one of my favorites. This is called The Reluctant Fundamentalist. You'll notice as you're reading the book that despite the title, this really has very little to do with religion and has very little to do with fundamentalism in the way that we think of it. So I want you to think of the title itself as you're reading this and try and understand where he's coming from with this, why he's decided to title it this way. So think of this as you're looking at the book. I also want to give you just a quick brief background on the story. He started writing this before the events of 2001, September 11th, and after September 11th happened, Mohsin Hamid felt that he needed to rewrite his story. So he threw the entire manuscript away and then started over again. It took him several years to finish it, and when he did, he finished this book. It's written from a very unique perspective. It's one of the only books I've ever read where it's only one person speaking. The book is essentially one monologue that goes from the beginning until the end. So pay attention to that. Pay attention to the symbolism that's within this text. As far as symbolism in books that you can teach well, this is by far one of the best ones that I've ever seen. There's so much symbolism in this text. So read that, pay attention to the names, pay attention to the names of the author, pay attention to the names of the characters, pay attention to the names of the cities, and just pay attention to the story itself. What is the story about? Is it a love story? Is it a story about war? Is it a story about religion? Is it a story about people, immigration? There's so many different topics that you can cover within this fairly short text. It won't take you very long to read it, maybe about 3 or 4 hours if you sat down from the beginning to the end. But it's an incredibly rewarding read. There's also a movie to go along with this if you like. I didn't post this on e-learning, but I did. But it is available if you want to try and track the film down. I personally don't think the movie is as good as the film or as the book is, but nonetheless, I like for you to read the text, sit with the text, and pay attention to this. Okay. So in the meantime, enjoy the book. Happy readings. Pay attention. Look for some emails from me to come up in the next week, and maybe one more film as we close out the week. All right. Thank you. Happy readings.